students and families. I'm Mrs. Thompson. I'm one of the teachers with By the Book. And earlier this month, you probably received a mailer that had two lessons in it, one about creation and one about the very first sin that took place in the Bible. You know, in Psalm 139, it says, I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Maybe you've never thought about this before, but our human bodies are really amazing. God included so many details in our bodies, including the eye, the human eye. And the human eye has so many different parts that work so well together so that we can be able to see. And one of those parts is the pupil. That round black dot right in the center of our eyes are called the pupil. And the pupil, here's how it works. When it's really dark outside, your pupil will get larger to let in more light. And when it gets brighter outside, your pupil will shrink down so it doesn't have as much light coming in because it doesn't need it. It's true, seriously. Look in the mirror and shut off the light and watch your pupils grow. Or you can use a family member, look in their eyes, shut off the lights, and you'll notice real quick that their pupils will get larger. And then flip on the light real quick and you'll notice their pupils shrink back down. I want you to try it out right now. Pause this video and do this little experiment with me. Did you try it? Isn't that awesome? How God made us? And you know, I want to tell you something else that God did when he made us. Not only did he make us in such an amazing, wonderful way with so many details, he gave us a couple unique things. Number one, he said that we were made in the image of God. In fact, in Genesis 1:27, it says that we were made in God's image. And what does that mean? It doesn't mean that we're perfect. It doesn't mean that we're like God or that we're equal to God. It just means that God used himself as a pattern when he made us. He made us in a way that he could have fellowship and connection with us. And he did not say that about mountains. He didn't say that about flowers. He didn't say that about giraffes or even gorillas. No other part of creation did he say we're made in the image of God except people. That's pretty cool. Another thing that God did that was unique to humans when he created us was that he gave each of us free will. And free will is the ability to be able to choose to go God's way and follow him and love him, or to go our own way and turn away from God. We have the ability to choose right or to choose wrong. And we all have this free will. Now, over the years, I've had so many students ask me, Mrs. Thompson, why didn't God just program us to love him and follow him? Why didn't he just make it so that we didn't really have a choice? We just did the right thing all the time. I'm going to give you a would you rather question to help us think about this a little bit more. Would you rather have a mechanical dog that could do a few program tricks or a real live puppy? How many of you would choose a mechanical dog? Raise your hand. Not too many of you. How many of you would choose a real live puppy? Raise your hand. Yeah, me included. Because even though I know that a puppy can do naughty things, and maybe it's eaten your homework before, or maybe your puppy or your pet has had an accident on the floor. Even though we know those things can happen, we choose it because it's real and it really loves us and it really chooses us. And maybe that's exactly the reason why God wanted it that way too. He wanted us to really love him and to really choose him. But sometimes we don't, right? Sometimes we go our own way, we do our own thing, we disobey God, and that's called sin. Sometimes we know what the right thing is to do and we don't do it, and that's also called sin. The Bible says that all of us sin. Romans 3:23 says, for all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. We're all in the same boat. We're all created with a sin nature, which means that sin comes naturally to us. We don't have to be taught to do it. In fact, a lot of times we have to be taught and reminded and reminded and reminded to do the right thing. And we don't have to be taught to do the wrong thing. Now, if God wouldn't have intervened, here's how it goes. Sin separates us from God. So we have this holy and righteous and perfect God over here, and here's us over here, sinful. But God had a plan to bring God and people back together. He would send a rescuer. And that's part of the good news that we're bringing to you in December. In just 3 weeks, it's coming to a mailer near you. So stay tuned. We'll see you soon.